So as you can see, I have a guest speaker today. Her name is Jackie. She flew in all the way from Connecticut, New Haven, Connecticut. Yes, to be our guest speaker today, to talk about, you know, her lash journey, and to talk about kind of my lash journey and how, you know, a new lash artist, or how to build kind of like your lash empire, if you say. So if you have any questions on how to build your lash career, you know, you getting to this point and what's the next step, you know, things like that, stand by today. We have Caitlin and Zach. They are going to take down all the questions that you have, and we're going to answer the list of questions you guys submitted, and then we're going to go through the questions you guys asked on the live, and I'm hoping you will find this helpful and you know, for your lash career. Okay, but before I do that, I'm gonna go through a really quick announcements. I'll try to make it super fast. Hi Alex, how are you? Did you guys get power back? Because I know Alex Chandler is in Texas, and it has been awful there the last 3 or 4 days. Okay, so announcement, just a few quick things. First of all, if you are from Texas, or if you are from Midwest and you lost power and, you know, your adhesive freeze and you worry about using it and, you know, affecting your retentions and things like that, we have put up a post on Lash Queens on Paris Lash Academy Facebook and Paris Lash Academy's Instagram, saying that if you, you know, if that happened to you, please go ahead and comment your order number on there, so then that way we will send you a new bottle of adhesive, so then that way you don't have to worry about your adhesive going bad and things like that. So if you are in those states or in places that you lost power the last few days, make sure that you go on there and comment on it, and we will send you out a bottle of adhesive out free of charge. And make sure that you track that tracking number and grab it as soon as it arrives, so it doesn't sit in the mailbox for, you know, a day or a day and a night, and then it, you know, freezes over. Okay, so that's number one. Number two is we are still doing PLA Choice. So PLA Choice is a membership program, a yearly membership program. It is $65 a year, and you get free shipping with every order you purchase for the whole entire year, and then you get one free gift for the whole, you know, for every order you purchase. So technically, if you order, and you usually get like either an adhesive or a tweezers or you know, bonder or glue support. So if you order like 2 or 3 orders, you technically get your money back, and then you get free shipping for the whole entire year. It's a super cool program, and then you get every time we have a sales, you are the first to know. You get to shop 24 hours in advance in comparison to everyone else. So if you haven't joined yet, head to parislashacademy.com and then purchase PLA Choice member. A lot of people say, you know, it's great because they don't have to worry about cramping in like a huge order. They'll just order as they go, and then they'll just, you know, pop in and place an order today or 2 days later and not have to worry about the shipping charge, which is pretty cool. And who doesn't love free gift? Pretty much. Okay, so that, and a friendly reminder again, at Lash Queens, we are a drama-free group. We pro every brand. So if you are an educator and you are a brand owner that would like to advertise and spread the good words about your brand, make sure you do contribute into our Lash group. Make sure you mentor other, you know, members in the group and help out, you know, things like that, and then you are welcome to advertise on Lash Queens or drop your link on Lash Queen. Just make sure that the only thing that you do is dropping a link, you will be removed. So you know, contribute if you are going to be here. And drama free, if you are here to start drama, please go somewhere else. No time for that. Okay. And tomorrow is National Lash Day. Yay! Happy National Lash Day to all of you lash artists out there. And to kind of honor National Lash Day, anyone that places an order with Paris Lash Academy tomorrow, which is the 19th, will get a free gift in your order. And it's going to be kind of random what we have in stock. So place an order tomorrow. One last thing that I want to address with you guys is we had a tons of questions the last couple days saying, hey, I heard rumor that there's like a shortage on pre-made fan. Is this going to affect PLA? And, should I be worried? Things like that. I want to kind of, make an announcement and sort of explain. Yes, there is a shortage on pre-made fans because they are made from a different fiber material. However, our fans are pro-made, so they are made from the same lash trays that you buy if you would have handmade your fans, right? So there are no shortage on that hair fiber, and we usually stock up for a good year. And I just got our last shipment in about 3 weeks ago. Every time we buy shipment, we usually buy it annually. So we buy it for like the whole entire year. And I confirmed with my source yesterday, we're not going to be short ever. Which is great, amazing, awesome. So you don't have to worry about it. However, we sell pro-made fan, and then we sell regular lash tray. And then as always, I recommend everyone to learn how to hand make a fan because your retentions will be slightly better with handmade fan. You are able to customize it a little bit more. If you can hand make your fan, it would be a little bit more cost effective. So yes, learn how to hand make your fan. If hand making fan is hard for you, you can use pro-made fans and kind of fill it in between. That's what I kind of do. So I've been lashing for a good 10 years and my hands really start to hate me. So my hands start cramping and hurting in the middle of the day, and I'm going from doing a fill in an hour 15 minutes to it's taking me 2 hours to do a fill. And on those days, pro-made fans really help me. So if you worry about a shortage on pro-made fan, we're not going to have that problem. I'm not sure what's going on with the pre-made fans world because we don't sell pre-made. But I just want to ensure you that if you are a customer of Paris Lash Academy, we gotcha. No worries. Okay. Oh, can we sit closer?
I was gonna say, they want to know where your coffee is. So.
Oh. Coffee with Michelle. Okay, it's really hard to like squeeze both of us in here in the screen a little bit. Okay, so subject today, thank you for sitting through all of that. Subject today we are going to talk about is evolving around your lash career, which means I'm a lash artist. What else can I do to grow, and what is how to achieve my goal, how to conquer opening a salon, get a lash line, stuff like that, if it is your goal. So I have Jackie here. I'm gonna let Jackie introduce herself and talk to you a little bit about her and her lash career and things like that.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Michelle. So hello everyone, my name is Jackie. I have been a lash artist for about 2 years. I am based in Connecticut, New Haven specifically. I am the owner of J&J Beauty. It's just me and my husband right now though. So I'm super excited to be here, mainly because I'm giving you the insight of the lash artist when they're just starting out, and then we have Michelle established with her brand, everything that she needs already. So I'm super excited to just give all those questions that we may have when we're first starting off and have the input of a professional here as well. And then we do have a couple of questions from Michelle that you guys did send over, which I'm super excited. Thank you so much for participating. Hi Alex, how are you? And so the first question would be, what do you recommend a lash artist start off, commission, rent, or just work from home? I'm going to give you a little bit of insight from my point of view when I first started. I started off working from home. It was, I was licensed, I had all the proper steps that I had to, like business license, certification, and I am a licensed eyelash technician as well. So I was fine to work from home. But I noticed that some people, they don't really like it when you work from home because it's not that professional salon setting that you may want to walk into. So now, actually a month ago, I transitioned from home to a salon, and when I first got in there, I was super hesitant on whether I wanted to be commission or rent. So after a lot of deciding and a lot of input from my husband, we decided that I'm going to go rent instead. I feel like it's the best decision for me, but at the same time, there are questions that I wish I would have asked, so I'm hoping Michelle can answer some of them and see what the input would be on what are the proper steps to take when you're first starting off, if we should be commission or rent instead.
Okay, So, I do things a little bit backward. When I first started out in my lash career, I'm kind of all over the place. Caitlin is trying to take a pictures of us, and before she do this, she also told me that I have hair mom today. So,
Mom hair.
oh, mom hair today. Thank you very much. But yes. So when I started out in this lash journey, this is how I do it. I was self-taught. I worked from home because I was too broke to rent. Being honest, like rent at Reno, Nevada at that time was probably around $500-$600 like for a tiny little room, and my husband was in college and he was also working at a restaurant waiting table, and I was kind of in college and lashing part-time on the side. So forking out another $500-$600 just wasn't an option for me at that time, so I started lashing from home. Lots of downsides to lashing from home, I would say, now that I think about it. I didn't have an extra room. I literally was lashing in the middle of the living room, like the little apartment that I have. Yeah, it was very small. It was very unprofessional. I feel like I didn't have the proper, setup for everything, because I would open their massage, chair, and then I would pop a clients on, and then my couch would be in the middle, and everything else. So not the ideal setup. And then I find that clients are very hesitant to come in when I give them my home address. Given a good example, one day I was sitting in my room, waiting for my client, and then I'm looking out to like the window blind to see if my client pulled up yet, and I saw this really weird car, and I saw this really weird car just kind of drove slowly past my house, make one round, and then slowly past my house again, got to the stop sign, and then make another turn around, and I'm like, this is odd. Then she finally she parked her car, she came into the house, and I'm like, did you drive by my house, pass it, and then turn around? She was just like, oh yeah, I just want to make sure it wasn't like a creepy house, or it wasn't something like weird, or am I about to like get murder in there or stuff like that, Laura. So she actually is now a lash artist, that client of mine. So Laura, if you are watching, I'm talking about you. She literally drove by and then, make another turn, thinking about leaving, and then, turn back around and then come in. She said, it's just weird, like coming to people's house, especially if you've never met them before, if you don't have anyone that refer you there, and you kind of like, oh, this like gonna be a creepy dude that I'm gonna pull my car into, or things like that. I'm gonna text my sister and let her know that where I'm at, all of that thing. So you have all of that work against you if you work from home, being honest. The only benefit of working from home is you have a flexible schedule. You can kind of just wake up, flop your clothes on, and then be at work, and then you don't have to pay extra rent for it. But I really think working from home deter away like a lot of clients that would have come to you if you work in a professional salons things. So in my personal opinion, I think you should work from a salon. It's separate work and life. There are so many crazy people out there. Not only that they are afraid of going to your house, you should be careful who you bring into your home too, because you never really know how crazy they are. And then what if you want to fire that client because she is too batshit crazy? Then now she knows where you live, and then she knows the car that you drive and all kind of things like that. In this modern world, I think you can't be careful enough. So if you can't, and if it is an option, try to work from a salon or a professional setting. So then there comes to a point that you're like, okay, I'm going to give that a try. I'm going to go to a salon or a professional setting to work. But I have no rent money. I have no startup money. What do? I say this almost at every, videos that I make or, live that I made. I said, find a salon that do commission to start. Is it going to suck? Yes. It is gonna suck at first. It's gonna suck the first 6 months. It's gonna suck the first year. Think about yourself as an intern when you start working commissions at a salon at the very beginning stage of your career. Are you gonna be bossed around by everyone? Most likely. Are you gonna get, picked on by this, by that because you are so new? The truth is, all of that thing most likely gonna happen because you are new. You are brand new. You don't know what you're doing quite yet. You have you don't have a single client, you don't have enough money to buy products and stuff like that, my advice is do your research and find a salon in town that has good reputations. Have a meeting, have an interview with, the owner. At the interview, not only she's interviewing you, you should be interviewing her as well, and set up, the expectations of how much you should get paid, how long you're gonna have to stay, and all of that things up front. So then that way, you don't have to worry about, hey, I'm gonna work for like such a crappy salon and things like that. I recommend you don't go and work for chains that would ask you to pop people out in like an hour, so go and do research, work from like a small business, salon that have good reputations, and tell them, hey, I'm starting out, I'm very new, I'm looking to build my clientele, so I'm looking for a place to call home, and grow as a lash artist. And then as long as they are upfront with you about how much they're gonna pay you, what can you expect, you're gonna go to that salon, you're gonna do your absolutely very best to build your clientele, make the money to the owner because she provide you a good working environment, get along with everyone, and move on is what I feel like you should do in the beginning if you have no money to start up. And then after 6 months or a year, usually they ask you to sign a contract for like a year or so. After you work for about a year and you have good clientele, and then you have the experience, and then now you are no longer the lash artist that still have to struggle to figure out retentions, adhesive problem, applications problem, you are a seasoned lash artist. Then you can go out and rent a booth and do your own. Try to save up your money while you work at that salon, and then also try to build up your portfolio online for your professional career, which is your Facebook, Instagram, all of those accounts, so that when you leave your salon, then you have something to start with. You have the money to do so, and then you have the experience to do so. That's what I would recommend you to do. I don't recommend you to leave early and burn your owner, especially if you live in a really small town. If you live in any kind of town, I don't think it's fair that if you would leave early before your contract and then kind of just burn them, it leave a really bad taste in their mouth. And then it also doesn't help your career if you live in a really small town. Don't sign a 5 years commitment, sign a 6 months commitment, see if you like her, see if she likes you, see if it's a good work environment, and then leave if it is a toxic work environment. So if you work at a place that you are just a number to them, they're just asking you to pop set out like left and right, and don't give you the proper training, don't give you the proper guidance for it, don't really care about you, then I say leave, But if the place is good and decent, stay, build your portfolio, build your clients, and then after you save enough money, then you would leave and then go rent your own booth. Questions I often get asked is how much money is enough money, and for you to leave and go rent the booth of your own. I would say the rule of thumb is if you have 3 months worth of your mortgage, your bills, and your booth rental, that's when you're ready to go, because it's going to take you about 2 to 3 months to get fully booked again if you leave and your clients do not follow you. You have to account to worst case scenario, right? If I leave and only 20% of my clients gonna follow me because of my new location, because of whatever that is, if they don't all leave and follow and go with me, I have to now rebuild my clients from scratch. You need to make sure that you have 3 months of your own bills, your mortgage, and then your rent, for the booth rental to saved up, so then you can go out there and comfortable start without stressing and then running all kind of specials and doing lashes for nothing to get people through the door. You don't want that. So save up your money and then build up your skills, so then that way you could comfortably.
Definitely. Thank you so much for answering that question, by the way, because I know for me it did take me a while to do a lot of research and figure out what I wanted to do, so that insight is amazing.
Yeah. You worked for a salon, and then now you're renting, right?
Yeah, so I went into the salon with the idea of being commission only, because let's face it, COVID made it rough for everybody. We had to start over, most of us. So that was my case. I went from about like 25 clients to 2 clients. So I started from scratch. So I thought that by going commission, it'd be the best route. But then I introduced something else. As you know, I do tiny tattoos in Connecticut, and that kind of gave me the step that I needed to get clientele again, because I don't know how, but they correlate somehow. So I decided the very same week that I went in there to go commission, I decided to do rent instead, because I felt like I could have that income. I could pay all my bills and still have a little bit surplus to take care of the rent and everything else that I needed.
So if you are not following Jackie on Instagram or Facebook, go ahead and give her a follow. Caitlin, can you help me put the handle on there? Yes. I watch her Instagram and Facebook, and I'm like, dang, this girl is talented. Not only her lashes are good, but she do these tiny tattoos that are amazingly. They're so artsy. They're so pretty. I'm not like a huge tattoo person on myself, because I'm not good with commitment. But when I look at her tattoo, I'm like, I would get something like that. And I think it's a great side hustle for her, you know? Like you have so many people that make appointment for your, tiny tattoo. Almost more than lashes, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So much more.
So that's what I kind of tell people too. Like when you first started out doing lashes, it's always great if you have a side hustle, right? Which Jackie does tiny tattoo, she does bridal makeup, and she does permanent makeup. They're not her main focus. She wants to do lashes more, but it is amazing that you have something on the side that you can offer your clients, and then that way your lash business can kind of grow with your tattoo clients, because your tiny tattoo clients, when they come in, they most likely will book a set of lashes.
Yes, they see the lash room, they see how I have it like decorated, and then they go on my Instagram and they see all the lashes that I do. And like I said, it correlates somehow, because they're like, oh, everything is here, I might as well do lashes too.
Right.
So
right.
It worked out really well.
And then I know a lot of like lash artist also does permanent makeup or do facials or do brow waxing or things like that. So then that way, you have a side hustle. You don't have to stress so much about lashing, knocking money out, from lashing. That stress alone usually kills the artistry of it. And then if you stress about money, it's really funny. When you stress about money, that's when you start making bad decisions when it comes to marketing and business decision that makes you no money. That's how I kind of feel. You should set out like a good marketing plan, and then whatever you have to do to achieve. If your goal is to make $3,000 a week or $2,000 a week as a lash artist, right? That's the goal that you set, and you're gonna work towards that goal. But if you are so desperate to make that money right away, you usually make bad decisions that affects that. So I always say on the side, pick up a side hustle. Sell some aftercare stuff. If you, even worst case scenario, if you have to waitress on the side, so then you don't stress about making money from lashings right now, so then you are free to be the lash artist that you want to be and grow your clientele from that. Do that. That's what I did. I waitress on the side, I lashed, and then I went through college. And my husband was going through college, and he was waitressing at like a Vietnamese restaurants in Reno, Nevada. And doing that, it would really help you not stress about money, and then just throw sets on without isolating, without proper, care, and then do set for $25 or $50 or whatever that is. Set your price good, and then set you apart from the other lash artists. If you need more money, find it elsewhere, and then just slowly grow your career that way.
Very, very true.
Okay.
And then, perfect. So what would you say career progression for an artist looks like? Because I know for me, I'm not gonna lie, when I first started lashing, I did not think I would want to do it full time, because I was waitressing for many, many years.
Okay.
And I thought that would be what I wanted to do. It's in the family business, like everybody like does restaurant stuff. But then the more I got into lashing, my passion grew, and the makeup, like everything kind of turned into the beauty world. So now when I look at like my future as a lash artist, I definitely want to follow your footsteps and go and own a salon, and then from the salon progress to a whole warehouse and ship internationally. So I have big dreams when it comes to like my brand, I would say. But what would you say is a realistic lash artist like career progression nowadays?
That is a realistic career progressions, I would say. So everyone kind of tells me this. There's two type of lash artists in this world. I feel like lash artists that are perfectly feels great about being the small fish, and then lash artists that have really really big giant dream to like own their own brand, be like a public speaker, be a international world educators, and I think any goal is very realistic. So I would have never thought a girl that barely spoke English, came to America at the age of 18 would one day, own a lash brand. So I think the goal is to set your goal really, really gigantically huge, just massively big, almost big, pretty much so other people would look at you and it's like, huh, really? Like, that's your dream? Like, if they laughed at you, that's great. That's awesome. That's the kind of goal that you should set. If you want to own a brand or things like that. I can't even tell you how many no's I get before I actually get my very first few yes. So I'm that type of person. Just because you tell me no, it doesn't really mean a no. It's kind of mean like a maybe, and then I'll just keep asking, and then if you keep saying no, then I'll just find another way to make it happen. So I'm that type of person. But there's another type of lash artists out there, which I know many of them, and it's great. They are happy to be a busy lash artist, and they are happy to rent their own room and be completely booked for like 6 months, a year, and then that's the kind of life that they want, that they're happy with. They lash 3-4 days a week, they make a great income, they go home to their kids, and they are the PTA soccer moms. Awesome. I'm not that type, and that's totally fine. I think it just really kind of depends on what you want in your life. So it's great to be a small fish, keep all your own money, don't have to deal with other people's bullshit and drama, and and this person calling you, that person calling you, this person complaining, that person complaining. If you want to be a small fish, just really focus on your craft, and then want to be the best lash artist out there, and then people will come find you after a amount of time, and then you just stay booked, and that's it. And then invest your money in a really good retirement plan, because we have no retirements, right? So if you are a single lash artist and then you don't invest in your retirement plan, the moment that you stop lashing, because you will, you can't lash when you are, 75 years old. You just can't. And then you have no retirement, you have no 401, you have no saving money, then you are screwed. So don't do that. If you plan to be a small fish, make sure that you have a good retirement plans and save up your money. That's what my husband does, because my money concept is really terrible. It's not one of my best part, and my husband's are like, okay, Michelle, you work and you make money, and then I will take the money and make sure that we invest properly, so then the moment that you stop working, we are okay. And I really appreciate that, because I don't know what I would do without him. But invest your money very, very wisely. If you choose to be a lash artist and you're just gonna make money from your own hard work, and that's great. If you want to be, like Jackie, owning your own brand someday, whatnot, this is usually the natural progressions of becoming, a brand owner. First, you have to be a great lash artist. There is no second way around it. If you are not a good lash artist, you can't teach. You can't own a salon. If you own a salon and you don't know what you're doing, guess what? Your lash artists walk all over you, because they know. For salons owner that I say, if you don't plan to work, you don't have a cosmetology license, you don't have an esthetician license, and you just want to own a salon with a like 5-6 lash artists that work under you, I very, very highly recommend that you would take a lash class. And obviously, they're not going to be able to give you a certifications. They're not going to be able to let you work on a real model, but it doesn't stop you from at least sitting in the theory part. So understanding how it works, and then understanding that you can just buy a mannequin's head, go home and kind of practice, get that part down, so then that way your lash artist is not going to BS you when it comes to this client complains and she's like, well, is this that problem? You have to know it in order for you to run a successful salon. You can't run a successful business of anything if you don't know anything about it, right? Throwing money at it is just dumb money. Like, if you just have money and you throw at it and you think that it's going to be great, it could be further from the truth. So at first, you have to be a really, really great lash artist. Get your craft, understand how retentions work, understand all of that. then take a marketing class, or learn from other people, marketers. Watch videos like this. Watch marketing with me and Caitlin. Watch marketing videos from like a lot of other big brands out there. They have really great marketing plans. Learn a little bit more about marketings. Then the next step, usually people go, okay, I've been lashing for 3 years. I'm completely booked. I'm booked out for 6 months. And I don't really want to slave for my money. What is the next step that I could do that would make me more money? And then I don't have to be at work 60 hours a week. That's what I did. I worked Monday through Saturday from 9 to 7:30 every single day for ever like 6-7 years. I worked to the point I'm pretty shocked why my husband didn't divorce me, because I legit went home and then see him ate dinner as I'm texting my clients back, making appointments, like don't even have a full conversations.
Me right now.
See? That's how
me.
all lash artists are. A lash artist has no boundaries at all whatsoever. We would be texting with our husband, talking to our husband and texting clients back. Our kids crying, we'd be like, one second. And then you like texting your clients back. You text your clients back in the middle of the night. You come in on your day off to squeeze your clients in, right? That's usually a lash artist or people pleaser. So we have no boundary. We have no boundary. And our poor husband suffers because of that. My husband at least always complains. He's like, can you put the phone down and have a conversation? And I'm like, shit, okay, yes. What's up? But once you get to that point, you don't want to burn out, and you don't want to be like, hey, am I going to work myself to death, or what am I going to do? The next step I recommend you is taking an assistant, which means taking a new lash artist that work under you, right? This is how I did it. I took in my very first assistant, Amanda, when I was 8 months pregnant with Paris. And then I was like, shoot, if I go on maternity leave, where are all my clients gonna go? And I'm afraid of sending them to other lash artists because I was new to the area, and I don't know if my clients would come back. And I was completely booked. I was like 8 months pregnant, like bending over my massage table because my tummy was like so gigantic, huge, and punching them on the head kind of things. So I was just like, okay, fine, I'm gonna get in an assistant. And I understood the fear of taking in a new employee or an assistant, because I'm like, what if they run with my clients, and the truth is they could. So I would recommend you to hire a brand new lash artist, which means someone who has a license or someone who just finished school but have no experience. Train them and then have an honest conversation with them and say, hey, with me training you, I'm expecting you to sign this non-compete contract, which means, I'm going to train you. You're going to work for me for a year. You're going to work for me for 2 years. I'm going to pay you very fairly, and I'm going to help you through your last journey. And then once your contract is up, you can just go and, do whatever you want after that. If you have that honest conversation with them and then you treat them really, really well, they don't have any reason to leave you, because you're making things really easy for them, right? You're providing them the training, you're fixing them messed up, because they will messed up the first 3 months. You're paying for the rent, you're paying for the supplies, and you treat them well. Why would they go somewhere else? They may, after 2 years, after they really get their stuff together, and then what? You get in another person, and then you just get over it, and you don't, get mad at anyone for doing it, because everyone has to grow, at one point, and everyone has to get their own career at one point. You don't own them. Get that through your head. If you are a salon's owner, get that through your head. You don't own any employees, of yours. You may think you do, but you don't. They got their own life. So, as long as you set that mentality up really, really good, then you should be okay. So the next step is taking in like an assistant, and then train her to work under you. And then when that assistant is full, you take in another person, and then you take in another person. And then when you have more than 2 or 3 people, I would recommend you to not rent a booth anymore and actually open your own salon. It's a lot cheaper that way. And when you own a salon that have like 2 or 3 or 4 people, then you stop working, or you at least work like 2 or 3 days a week. That's it. Don't work yourself to death, because now you have 3-4 people works for you. You better off managing that business and make sure that it goes really well, rather than be in a room working by yourself, and then don't really care about what your other lash artists do. Then you get a bad reputations in town that, oh, I go to that salon and they don't take good care of their clients. So now you have to step up your role as a lash artist, right? And be a manager, a business owner, and then run that salon. So that usually is the next step. So you go from like a successful lash artist to like build a salon. And there's so much go into have the mentality of a good owner. I worked for so many bad salons in my life that when I opened my own salon, I told myself that I'm not gonna make it an environment where everybody would go to work and would be like, damn it, I'm going to work for Michelle, like this suck, you know? I had a boss like that for a year, and the day that I quit, I'm like, I feel like I got out prisoned. You know, I'm like, I'm a free woman, you know? And I don't want anyone that works for me have that problem when they go work for me. So in order to keep your employees, you have to make sure that you treat them well, you pay them well, you hold up your end of the bargain. And by the time that they hold up the end of the bargain and they go, you gotta go, I wish you the best of luck. Thank you very much for the great, wonderful 2 years that we have. I hope that we will still, you know, have a good relationship. And then if I have any overflow clients, I'll send them to you. If you can't get your clients in, you send them to me and go on your merry way, you know? It does much better for you that way. And it doesn't waste your blood pressure because they're gonna leave no matter what. So if you are an owner and you have that mentality, you will do just fine. If you don't have that mentality, I highly recommend you don't own a salon and just run your own business as a single woman, because you don't play well with others if that is the issue. I hate to say it, but I see so many salons owner are so mad, and it spill all over social media. You know, everything nowadays spill all over social media, and then you become the talk of town, or you become like the talk of the industry, where oh my gosh, like I'm so mad because this person's leaving, that person is leaving. Believe me, I know. Like between my two salons, I had around 42 employees. And people leave. It doesn't matter how good you are to them. Sometimes they leave, and you just have to get over it. Okay?
Sure.
Go home. Vent to your husband. Vent to your mom. Don't vent all over social media. It usually do more damage to you than good, is what I say. And then it ended up being like an argument over Yelp. No. Where was I? Salon. Okay. And then the next step, usually from owning a salon, is you can do two things, or you can do both. A lot of people, the next step is they want to teach. So I know you said you wanted to teach, right?
I've been getting a lot of inquiries about teaching classes. I'm still hesitant about it, but I want to hear your input on like whether or not I should.
Yeah. So if you like to teach, like I love to teach, I want to be very honest with you, and I want you to be really seriously think about teaching, because teaching is not a mind gold. You don't make money off teaching. At least I don't. So if you teach, that's because you really love teaching, you love helping other people and stuff like that. If you think that you're gonna teach and get rich off teaching, that is not happening. I don't know anyone that get rich off teaching, being quite honest with you. Usually people makes money from a product line. Usually people makes money off their own salon. Usually people makes money off being a good lash artist. When I taught, I make less money than when I was lashing, and staying busy. Why? I'll just make it really simple for you, okay? I'll break it down a class for you, and then you tell me if I'm right. At least this is how my class was structured. I was charging $1,500 a class per person. I was only going to teach 5 students in a class. Why? Because when you have more than 5 people in a class, you honestly need an assistant to teach that class. If you want really hands-on, teaching your student, holding their hands, holding their tweezers and stuff like that. Like I took class with Lashbox LA, which was really great. They have 10 students in the class, but they had 2 educator, 2 teacher, which means 2 people on payroll. Yeah, so if you're gonna pay someone else to teach, that comes out of the tuition already. So usually when I teach by myself, I teach a 5 people class. For 5 people, that is how much? $7,500. I'm terrible at math, and I'm Asian, so it's bad. My husband's are like, you shouldn't be Asian, you bad at math. Yes, but $7,500, and my class is for 3 days. So that is what, $2,500 a day? And you're like, $2,500 a day, that's cool, yay, that's what, some people make in a month. No, that is not counting into, you have to pay for a venue, which is you have to rent a space. You have to make sure that the space has tables, lights, chairs, all of that stuff. So I usually pay a host to handle all of that. So each student, I pay them $500 each student. So now I am only making $5,000 a day, and then I have to fly there, and then I have to stay in a hotel, and then I have to fly back. And with all of that, missing my kids, I make as much as that lashing in my own city. Don't have to worry about flying anywhere or doing anything. So before you think teaching is a mind goal, please think again. Only teach if you love it. Only teach if you have a product line that it would teaching really help boosting your product line, then great, it's great advertising. Usually by the time that I make it home, I'm lucky if I make $2,000 for like a 3 days weekend. And no, I wouldn't make that lashing because our prices are pretty good. So yeah, go into teaching if you love teaching. I think that's great. That's awesome. Go into teaching if you have like a product line. I think it's a great boost for your own career, for your own product line. But if you go into it and say, "Oh, I'm gonna get rich one day teaching," that's that is all backward. Yeah. Make sure you talk to your CPA and break your numbers down and make sure that is working out for you. And again, please do not teach a 20 people class, charge $200 or $300, a class, and just pretty much hitting them over the head and getting the money and run with it, because you can't teach 20 people. Like, I just don't know anyone that can teach 20 people to lash by themselves in one day. That's not happening. So if you are that type of teacher, if you are planning to teach that way, I highly recommend you to stop, because you're not doing yourself any good. Very sooner or later, someone's gonna take your class and someone's gonna be like, I went to the class, it was one day, it was $200 or $300. She had 20 students in the class. By the time we get through introductions, it was lunchtime, and then there was no theory, and then she propped a person on the bed, and then I got to see her apply 2 lashes, and then she gave me a certifications. So I bought a certifications for $200. You don't want to be known as that teacher. So please don't do it if you are going to be an educator. And then the next thing is, if you want to open a brand, Alibaba has made it very easy for anyone to open a brand, I kind of feel like, which is great. It keeps the lash market competitive. It's awesome. However, I kind of don't want to recommend you to come out with a brand if you don't own a salon, if you are not a super busy lash artist yourself or known really well about the lash industry, because it's very easy for you to get ripped off. Okay, so if you're gonna go on there and then buy $5,000 worth of product because that, account on Alibaba has really good salesperson, and you're like, great, I think they have great lashes, they send me good samples, and then you just invest your whole entire life saving on it, right? And then they give you a bunch of crap, then what are you gonna do? So I highly recommend you to really know your craft, really buy a lot of products from elsewhere, test it out, try out a million Alibaba account, just pay for the sample package and pick the best one. And then also it's best if you have a salon already, so then that way, push come to shove, if you don't move all that products and your product line doesn't take off and go as well as you plan when you first launch it, you have a salon that will be able to use that supplies. Yeah,
that's smart.
Yeah. So when I launched Paris Lash Academy product line, everyone in my family is just like, are you sure you want to do this? Are you sure you want to do this? I pretty much took our saving, which wasn't a lot, to invest into the product line. And I told my mom, my dad, and my husband, the 3 people I had to get the okay from, I said, well, worst case scenario, I would just have enough lash supply for Paris, lash for a year. And then they're like, okay, well then I think you could do it. So have a backup plan just in case if that doesn't work out, you have a way to move your product. And the best way is if you could just use that product yourself or on your own salon, then you got nothing to lose. But coming out with a product line is what a lot of people are trying to do now. If you go on Lash Group, every other link is someone advertising like, my own brand or this or that, which I think is great, awesome. And, kudos to you for being a hustler and getting your name out there, knowing that every 100 brand that launch, probably about one of them would make it to like the second years. So usually they die within the first 6 months. And I think we can do like a whole entire episode talking about like how to launch your brand and, all the mistakes and stuff that you could avoid when you launch your own brand. I'm all about sharing. So any questions you want to ask, I can answer it. I'm happy to answer it. I'm not going to go like, ooh, I'm not going to tell you that because that's Paris Lash Academy's secret, I learned all of this from Lash Group. I learned all of this from just, like losing a lot of money. So I'm happy to share it with you if that's something that you guys want to do when you guys want to launch your own lash line. But that is a very realistic plan. I don't think that's I don't think that is something, I definitely think that's something that you can do, when you become more comfortable with talking to people like online or, and learn more about like your products and things like that. I definitely think you can come out with a product line and then I'll be here.
Okay. No, I'll be messaging you every day.
Okay, and then I'll be here. Come and work at Paris Lash Academy for like 6 months and learn how we do it, kind of thing.
Watch me, guys. I'll be there.
Yes, there you go. But that's like the natural progressions for like in your lash career, being a really good successful lash artist. And then a lot of people, the next step they do is they open their own salon, and then the step after that is they open their own product lines. Not everyone wants to do that though, because it's a lot of work. It is a lot of work. I don't sleep. I sleep like 3 hours a night. I don't sleep. Yes. My husband hates it because my husband's like, why is your phone ringing? You have to make sure that you are able to work Asia time. You have to make sure that I'm working 3 different time zones right now. And those are the things that you as the owner of the company have to do. So not just because I own Paris Lash Academy doesn't mean that I go get a pedicures every 2 weeks. I can't even tell you the last time I got a pedicures.
Or your lashes.
Oh, my lashes. Do not look. See, this is what I get for hosting with Jackie. She does bridal makeup professionally, so she looked flawless. She came and got her lashes done, and I was doing my makeup in the middle of the marketing meeting, slapping things on my face, and then I got hair, mom hair, mom hair, because my sister was hating me, so she get me mom hair and I have no lashes on. That's what the life you got as our CEO, lash company. It's crazy, but it's amazing at the same time. I wouldn't trade it for anything else, but I wish I looked more together like her. It's very sad.
Oh my gosh. You're so funny. So, as you know, starting off as a lash artist, we go through a lot of struggles, and I'll be honest, I go through my days where I don't want to do lashes anymore. I just have such a big, I don't know, it's not a hate for it, it's just like, why am I doing this? Like, I go through such phases where I'm just like disappointed in where I am in the lash career, or like I get so discouraged that I don't know what to do or what steps to take because I have these huge goals and I feel like I'm not where I want to be just yet. And it's just, there's so many things that contribute to that. As a beginner, we tend to compare ourselves to the experts, to these people that have been doing it for so many years and they are super successful. And you hear them always talk about how booked they are and how they have all this amazing stuff in mind and they're amazing at promoting themselves, and you want to you just want to be like them, but you don't know what steps to take. So what did you have to go through that too? Did you have those days where you just didn't want to lash anymore?
Oh, I hid in the bathroom and cried before. So you want to get personal, I'll tell you.
Yeah, that's how it is.
Lashing is such a weird thing. Lashing is mostly art, but then it has to be a successful lash artist. You need to have the marketing skills, right? So most people, if they are very artsy, suck at promoting themselves. Am I right, Caitlin? So I was that way. I'm a decent lash artist. If I had it my way, I wouldn't have Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, or any of that shit. That is just overwhelming yuck. But, sorry, Caitlin. Because that's Caitlin's word, my marketing director. That's what she lives on. She lives on her phone. But in this stage nowadays, I feel like you kind of have to work on both, and don't compare yourself to the other lash artist or this or that lash artist or the one that on on the Lash Group talking about this, how much money they make, how far they are to their career. You don't know their struggle. You don't know what they struggle with. They may go home and they're like, I have such a shitty day. My hands is hurting. I have this problem. I have that problem. There's a saying that my dad always say, everyone got their own struggle. You don't gotta compare battle scar and, and to each other's struggle. Just deal with your own. I've had days that I'm like, fuck this, I don't really want to lash anymore. I don't want to put up with 5 high maintenance people's drama, and I don't want to put up with these high maintenance clients. I had really high maintenance clients at that time. We had about 17 lash artists, and every picky clients in this of the whole entire salon goes to me. I ended up got all the one that didn't tip, always ask for extra mega volumes, crazy lashes, always all the clients that everyone wanted to fire go to me. And some days I hated myself. Some days I was just like, I do not get paid enough for this. I do not make enough money for this, whatnot. First thing is, draw your boundaries. Do not associate or take the clients that would drain your life or make you feel like hating yourself. Usually, there's a lot of toxic clients that they come in, they're always like late, they always not tip you, they always not pay you well, they're always complaining about something. Break up with them.
Yeah.
Just tell them, hey, I don't think we're a good fit, and I don't think that I'm making your money worth it, and I don't think you're happy with my jobs anyway. I want you to be happy, so find another lash artist that would make you happy. Don't recommend them to someone else and make it, someone else just be miserable, unless you think that she wants mega volumes and then there's another lash artist that would be super good at it. You can make that recommendations, but if she's just like a straight up bitch, just tell her no. I'm sorry, I'm not taking you, Break up with anyone that's toxic. Break up with, and you have to make sure that you understand and treat this like a career. This is not a side gig. This is not something fast that you're gonna make money right away. Treat it like a career. Really invest in it, and then it's okay if you have bad day. Everyone has bad day. If you have a bad day, go home, eat a tons of ice cream, talk to your husband. Tomorrow, wake up and just be ready like a new person. You have to keep grinding at it though. This success not gonna happen to anyone that just give up the first time that you like, this suck, this is so hard, so it's gonna be hard. It is a career. You can make 6 figures doing this, being a single lash artist by yourself. So ask anyone around you that makes 6 figures, do they have days that they feel like, I don't want to go to work, this and that? That happens to every career. Brush yourself up, take a personal day, go home, recoup, and then the next day go back to work, get ready to grind. And only do this if you really like doing lashes. If you hate doing lashes and you don't feel like this is the career for you and you're in it for the money, you most likely can be miserable for forever. And I don't recommend you doing that. Sitting in one spot applying lashes to people's eyeballs takes a special, kind of personality. You really have to love pleasing people. You really have to love the art. You like the money, obviously, but if you're in it just for the money and you're like, this is stupid, I don't really like doing it. There are so many other ways that you could make money, so don't do it. Then if you ask me, I hate doing lashes, how do I get over this? I said, don't. Do something else, that you really, really love. You could make 6 figures doing a lot of other things. So yeah, but if you have a bad day, go home, eat ice cream.
Yeah.
It's okay.
And you'll have a lot of bad days, that's for sure.
Yeah. I have bad days that I want to run away from my staffs here. I'm like, I love you all. Caitlin's just looking at me like, what? I'm like, I love you all, but I gotta be home, and that's okay. All right.
Okay, so let's see. Oh, this one's really good. So I know a lot of us, especially when, again, I'm here for the beginner lash artist perspective. So when you first start off, you don't know what to do when it comes to the business aspect of it, like what kind of business account to open up or when to actually open up a business account. I know for me, I struggled a lot, and it took me probably around a year to finally open up a business account and be like, okay, you know what, this is going to be something that I want to do full time, or make it a career. So let's see. What would you suggest when it comes to opening up a business account? Should it be like an LLC, a sole prop, or should we just separate our money banking account and have a savings specifically for the business, and just our personal stuff just separate it and not really do a business account? Or what were your steps when you first started?
Always have a business account. always try to open an LLC if you can. Why? Because you need to protect yourself, right? When do you open it? The first day that you take your client, you open it. Before the very first client that walk into your door and you're about to work on them, you open an LLC. When I was a lash artist by myself, I opened an LLC. We later on changed into a corporations because we gotten a lot of staff. But at first, or even when you have like 3 or 4 lash artists, you could still stay as an LLC. LLC, it would protect you from, if God forbid anything ever happened, they don't come after you for your house, for your car, for your own personal, whatever. So the moment that you start taking your clients, you go to the bank, you open an LLC. It's very easy to do. You just open it online. You pay your state fee, your city fee, and then they give you an LLC. You purchase insurance, and then you take that paperwork, and then you go into the bank and you say, I want to open a business bank account. Because why? If anything happened, you are protected. Make sure that is completely separate with your personal account, because if something happened, it gets very, very messy. And then do you know how much more your tax person would love you if you have an LLC and a separate business account? I made a mistake of not opening a business account at first, and my husband did my tax. I think he hated me for like 2 weeks because he was just like, Michelle, this is so crazy, so messy. You bought Starbucks on a business account? Like, what happened? So if you get audited on taxes, this will make your job a whole lot easier when you have a completely business account, and then it'll cover you. It's really easy to do. Why would you want to jeopardize your own house, your car, or anything like that? God forbid if anyone sues you. And in this industry, it's not if you're gonna get sued, it's when you're gonna get sued. Get that through your head. Somehow down the line, you're gonna meet a client that is so batshit crazy that you're just gonna have to be like, block, I'm not talking to you anymore. If you have an issue, talk to my insurance, right? And that will protect you if you open an LLC and proper insurance for it. So always make sure you open that.
When we're starting off, our biggest hesitation is we don't know if this is going to be our career. We don't know if we want to do this full time. That's why it took so long and actually creating that business account. So are there any repercussions to actually, let's say, opening up a business account, LLC, doing all the proper steps through the state, and then deciding last minute or a few months later you don't want to do it?
Nope. Then just don't renew your license. Don't renew your state business license or your state, or your city business license, and you are good. There's no there's no penalty. There's nothing on it. There is penalty otherwise if you didn't open one, and it's so easy. Like I could do it. I did one, and I was so proud of myself because I suck at shit like that. But go online, Google on how to open an LLC. If you have someone, a friend of yours that already done it, know the step, ask her or him walk you through it, and then you can just open one online. It takes like 15 minutes, and it's cheaper than talking to your attorney about it afterwards. Oh, trust me.
Good point. So on the topic of like clients and stuff, you know how we get so many no-shows, especially with COVID now. I feel like every week or I don't even know how often I get no-shows.
I got COVID this morning.
Exactly.
Right?
Like as if they didn't know they were like sick or something. Would you recommend that the client's card always be on file, like when you're first starting off? Because I know when you're first starting off, you don't have that reputation or that credibility to you where people feel like they could trust you enough to put their card on file.
So there's 2 things you could do. They could do a card on. You could do a card on file, or you could do a deposit. So if they called in and then leave, book a full set, say, hey, we require, just to prevent no-show and things like that, we will require you to put a $50 deposit down onto the account. And that $50 deposit will go towards your service when you get it done on that day. Usually people doesn't have a problem doing that. And then if they no-show, if they cancel within 24 hours, you keep the deposit.
Right.
That's what I would do. Especially now with everyone using COVID as an excuse to get out of everything. I see that on Lash Group. Like on Lash Group, people's are like, my client legit texted me 6 minutes before my appointment and said she's not feeling well and she thinks she has COVID. No, she didn't feel well yesterday. She didn't feel well this morning. She didn't, 6 minutes, she should be in your parking lot right now, not texting you that she's not feeling well. So, that people, I really think use COVID for anything and everything right now. And that's not okay because you're losing out, right? So if you're not seeing that client, you're not getting paid. Therefore, you have to be your own advocate and take a deposit on your full set, at least at the very minimum. So then you're not sitting there for 2.5 hours not getting pay.
Very, very true. I know you touched bases on this a little bit, but when did you finally think it was time for you to open up your own salon?
When you have about 2 lash artists that work under you, I think it's a good time to open your own salon. Even something small, something that have like 2, 3, or 4 rooms. I always recommend you when you open a salon, especially if you build a salon, this is what I find very helpful when I open my own salon. Pick a salon that is in a good, pick a space to build a salon in a good, busy, building. However, the best spots to take if you are going to take something small is make sure that you have no neighbors on either one side or both sides. Why? Because you're going to grow rapidly quick, and then if you want to expand, you have the space next door to expand, right? So at Paris Lash, we expand twice, and we took both of the empty space next to us, and it was great. I didn't have to move my salon. I didn't have to do anything like that. So ideally, if you pick a space and next door is empty, you're like, yay, great, good, stay empty. And then, give me a year to grow my business, and when I have more people, I'll be like, landlord, can I take that space? And then you just make a door, and then, that's it. You don't have to move your salon again. But when you have like 2 or 3 lash artists start working under you, that's when you should have a proper salon set up. So then that way managing is easier and things like that.
I didn't even think about that. That's a great point.
Yeah. We expanded twice, and I think that was like the best thing that was happening to Paris Lash. Otherwise, I would have to move my whole entire salon, or I would have to open another one, which we ended up doing. We ended up opening a second eyelash salon because we took over that whole entire, I think, like 5,600 square foot space, and there was no more room to move. But I was happy to expand twice before we have to open a second locations. But yeah.
Okay. And then how can you expand your business and work towards having multiple salons? Because I know like you did expand a couple of times. And what steps and goals would you suggest in moving towards hiring? And when did you know it was time for you to hire more people and keep expanding?
So again, before you think about expanding salon, you have to determine and see if you are salon's owner's material type. Not everyone's are cut out to own a salon. Owning a salon is like being the principal of a school that has a bunch of children that are misbehaving, and I'm talking about employees. Caitlin, I'm serious.
I know,
That's how it is, because that's you are managing. At the point, I sold my big salon, Paris Nelson Spa, about 6 months ago because Paris Lash Academy really took off, and I just really needed to be here and then be with my kids. But at the point that I sold Paris Nelson Spa, we had about 40 workers, 40 employees. So that's 40 people plus receptionists, and time that to 2 to the clients. That's how many people you manage in the hours, right? So like every day, we probably have, I don't know, 300 clients that walk through the door, walk in and walk out. And it is crazy, it is crazy. So before you do that, make sure that you are good at managing people, that you have good people skills, that you don't take things personal, that you have the skills to run a salon of that type. There's no worse owner than a person who has money to invest and then, in a salon and don't know how to run it, because that's really hard. That makes your job so miserable. So first, make sure that you are the right type of person to do that. And then second, when your salon is completely booked all the time, then that's time for you to expand. If you want to make more money, if you care to make more money, that's when you do it. So we opened a second salon in Midtown called Paris Lash, and it does amazingly well. It has like 8 lash artists, and everyone is really, really nice. And then after that, I would probably say understand how much stress you're willing to deal with before you open another salon, and understand, not all money is good money, because I don't ever think that I could take more than 2 salons. It's just a lot of people, a lot of personality, and you need to be happy too. So make sure that you kind of draw the line there. When do I know it's more time to hire people? When all your lash artists are booked out, make sure that you add in another lash artist to either fill in on the days off of your full-time lash artist, or bill an extra room. That's kind of like a given.
True.
It's great to have a waiting list. It's not great to have a waiting list going out 3 months because people start hating it and then they'll go somewhere else. So always make sure that you have room to expand and take in more clients. Clients get really irritated after you say no to them for like the third time. That's not good for your business. So yeah.
True.
Yeah.
So we talked already about lash educating and stuff, but when you want to become an educator, what are the steps you should take? Because I know some states require you to have a teaching license. Is that something that you really like? What did you do to become an educator, basically? Just give us your steps and your secrets.
And there was a question on Facebook about that, and it was like, how can anyone give out a certification?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna explain how educators, that whole entire things work. The only people you really would get in trouble with if you do things wrong is your state board. I don't care who in the world tell you what. The only people that could come down to your door and say, hey, Michelle, you are in trouble because you are not doing this right is your state board. And every state is different. Before you hold a class teaching anyone, please check with your state board and ask them, what's the requirement? I want to teach a class in the city of Reno, Nevada. What is, what do I have to have? And then they will give you the specs of everything that you would need to meet. Like you have to have, a cosmetology license. You need to have this. You need to have that. I highly recommend you to take teaching classes because knowing how to do lashes and teaching lashes is two completely different things. That's like knowing how to drive a bicycle and, knowing how to fly a helicopter pretty much. So make sure that you are a great lash artist. Take some teaching class. So they teach you psychology of teaching. They're teaching you how to explain things to your clients, right? How you can how explain things, how to train your students. So not only to do great lashes, but you have to train that person to do lashes. So that makes you a great educator. What makes you a qualified educator is just check with your state board and see what the requirement that states would need of you. And because teaching lashes is so new, this is what I would recommend. Call your state board, say, I want to teach a class in Reno, Nevada. What do I do? And they'll tell you, oh, this is the 4 things you have to do. Take down the name of the person who told you that. Say, hey, thank you so much for the information. Can I please have your name? I just want to make sure, I get all the information correctly. If anyone comes down that in the state board, because this is so new, right? Even state board themselves do not have a clear rule, at least I think in the state of Nevada, they don't have a clear rule of this, that, whatnot. If someone come down and find you and someone come down and give you trouble, at least you could say, I talked to Bob on February the 14th and this is everything that he told me that I have to. I noted everything down. You can come back and talk to Bob and tell them they can get their own house in order. However, your only responsibility is to do what state board tell you to do. Can you give our certifications? Yes, you can give our certifications. If you are a cosmetology, and then you're teaching someone, you can certify them saying, me, Michelle, whatever, hereby certified, whoever, that she's, I trained her in classic lashes and then she met my requirements, signed, dated. Does that certifications mean anything? No. It just means that you taught that person how to do lashes. It is not accredited. It is not a license, signed on and sponsored and, approved by state board. It is just simply a piece of paper saying, I taught that person and in my opinion, that person could do lashes. So it is as good as your credibility. It does not have any legal, support or anything like that. So can you give out a piece of paper saying certification? Yes. Does it mean anything? No. Get that through your head. Also, make sure that you only teach people that meet the requirement of that state. For example, in the state of Nevada, you need to be an esthetician or a cosmetology in order to perform eyelash extension service. So before you teach that person, it is your duty, I repeat, it is your job to look at their license, ask them, do you have a license, one of those 2 licenses, and they say yes, it is your job to check and make sure that they do have that license, and then make sure that it is not expire and stuff like that before you teach them. Why? Because and I hope that you will teach them to practice on real people, not just a mannequin, right? Because it's so different when you lash on a real person. If she's touching a real person under your supervision in your own salon or your schools or wherever that you teach, and she is not licensed, you could get in trouble, and so can she. So make sure that you only teach people that have the proper license to do so, and it is your job to check with state board to see what it would be. And I hope that if you teach in your own state, you have to know that. And I hope that you would be an esthetician or cosmetologist yourself if you're going to teach in your own state.
Sure.
Okay.
Good to know.
And wait until you know what you do want to teach.
Yeah.
Like, that's a given,
I know, because we normally, we want to rush things, like you said, especially when we're starting out. We want to, do all these things. And me, I thought I wanted to teach as soon as I started, because I don't know what I was thinking at the time. But now that I've done lashing and now that I have these kinds, I'm like, you know what? I really want to perfect my craft and make sure I'm actually really, really good at what I do before I actually start even thinking about teaching.
Right.
But yeah, that's amazing.
And I mean, just my 2 cents too. I'm thinking, so when you do teaching, right, you have to teach people how to do classic, how to do hybrid, how to do volumes. And yes, majority of our sales come from selling ProMade fan, and that's what we specialize in to help lash artists. But I don't recommend anyone to actually go in and teach unless you perfect, you know how to hand make your fan. Everything that is about lashing. You can't teach someone using pre-made or pro-made fan. That's just that doesn't make any sense. So make sure that you really know what you're doing first, and make sure you master lashing, master styling, and all of that before you go in and teach people. Don't teach people how to put on pre-made fans, because I'm sorry, that's just no.
That's the cheaters.
I don't think it's cheater. I just think when you're a teacher, you really know. Like, I use ProMade fans when my hands hurt, but I think as a teacher, you should teach your students everything there is, and then she has an options to choose, whatever she wants to. If you didn't teach her how to hand make her fan, now you took away that options from her, right? True. She doesn't know how to do it.
Yeah,
so.
Then we become dependent on those ProMades, which was me at the beginning.
Yep.
And then, Michelle, what made you want to start your own product line?
I'm too cheap, that's why. So I want to start my own product lines because when I got about, I think I started my own product lines when I had about 3 lash artists that worked under me. And I was paying $16 for lash tray, and then I was paying $65 for a bottle of glue. And my bills of supplies was over my head, and I was just like, dude, I can't do this. This is ridiculous. They obviously got their supplies from somewhere, right? So I just looked into getting, supplies in at first wholesale. So I went to the company that I really trust and been buying supplies from them, and I said like, hey, listen, I need to buy this at a wholesale price because I now have 3 lash artists that work under me and me. So that's 4 lash, artists, and I just can't afford to pay $65 for a bottle of glue anymore. So they said, okay, if you order over $2,000, I'll give you a wholesale price. That's where I kind of start. And meanwhile, I search for vendors overseas for lashes. And, I kind of started my own product lines there. And then after a while, after a while that I understand more about products and stuff like that, we came to have our own manufacturer. So I have more say in how I want certain products are. But at first, it literally was just because I didn't want to pay more than retail price. I'm cheap. I know. But I think that's probably how most of brand owners start their own brands, because just come out and say I want to start a product line without knowing anything is very, very scary. You pretty much just get ripped off left and right. So make sure that you know what you're doing, and then like I said, if you have a salon or if you have lash artists that work with you, that's a good backup plan if your product line doesn't work out. I hope that it will, but just in case, is a good backup plan.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, let's face the facts. Paris Lash has grown so much in the past, two years? That's insane to me. Like, you guys are everywhere now. That is amazing. So what steps did you take to grow so quick? Besides Caitlin, man, like everywhere.
It's all Michelle.
I know, and it's wow.
So
Steps.
it's a little bit of a long story. I'll try to make it quick, and I kind of want to plant a little bit of things in this too. So bear with me. About 2 years ago, I went to when I launched Paris Lash Academy, and it was 1 week old. I went to Hollywood Lash Conference hosted by created and organized by Michelle Rath, and she is the CEO of Sinful Lashes, and I was like a lash newbie, nobody knew who Paris Lash Academy and things like that, are. I went there and then I listened to all the speaker and I'm just looking at them. I'm like, I want to be them when I grow up, because they have so much confidence. They know what the heck they're talking about and all of that good stuff. I'm just sitting here like starstruck because I met Frankie Widow, I met Michelle, I met, Kelly Harris. I met all the people that I really idolize and watched for a really long time. And there was one speech that really stuck out to me. And if you are watching this and you're thinking about opening your own brand, I would hope that you took away this one advice that I took away from that conference that I really think built my whole entire brand. Kelly Harris, she told me that the best thing that you could do for a business is surround yourself with the right people and build a really good team where you love and trust, and then they would have your back. And you treat them like gold because that's the people that's going to build your business. And it sounds really cliche, but that's pretty much how I built Paris Lash Academy. Fact is, a lot of people are self-promote fans. Fact is, I'm not the only one that have great products. A lot of people have good products. Paris Lash Academy are known to be a company that take good care of their customer, and that's because my employees take good care of our customers. I don't do everything in Paris Lash Academy, and as the matter of fact, a lot of time you see Paris Lash Academy comment, a lot of people think it's me comment, is mostly Caitlin or Katie or, someone else, in our marketing team commenting. They treat my business like they treat their own. And I feel I don't know what the future for Paris Lash Academy is going to be like in like a year or 2 years when we have more staff. But as of right now, everyone is family. And as of right now, they are so amazing, and I feel indebted to them that they, build my company the way that it is right now. They work until 11 o'clock at night to get orders out, and I'm like, go home. Or Katie, she stays, online, and then she works and she get orders out. She make order and answering emails at like midnight. And I literally see on my phone that she sent an orders out because it'll say Katie Mansfield created an order. And I texted Katie, I'm like, Katie Mansfield, go to bed, it's midnight. But that's the staff that I have. And I'm so grateful. I feel like that they are the one that built Paris Lash Academy, and everyone has good products. So if you come out with a product line, just make sure that you surrounded yourself by people that not just punch the clock and treat the business like they treat their own. And in order for that to happen, you have to make sure that they are taken care of. So we take good care of our staff, and then they do amazing things for the business. That's the one thing that I would probably, the best advice that I could give any brand's owner. Don't treat them like a money, making thingy. Treat them like family, and then give them incentive to grow with the company. When the company grows, then yeah, don't make it big for you. And you can't do everything, so you need people that you trust to do it. But yeah, I think that's probably the best thing about, having how Paris Lash Academy grows so quickly. Also, if you are growing a product line, I would recommend that people should know who you are as the CEO of the company. I usually see companies that are very successful is company that people get to know the CEO, know what she's like, her personality, because people support people. People don't support a brand because honestly, a lash tray, I can buy it here, I can buy it at Lashbox LA, I can buy it at EBL, I can buy it anywhere. It makes a slight difference, but not enough for them to, support one company over another. I would say people support people. So make sure that they know who you are. Make sure that you don't be afraid to kind of show yourself the good, the bad, the ugly, everything, because they'll love you for who you are. And make sure you give back to your community. That's one of the very big thing that PLA, wants to do, because honestly, we all eat 2-3 meals a day, 2 meals in my case. Drink a couple drinks a day. You don't need to make a gazillion dollars to be happy. You just need to be happy. So do whatever it takes for you to feel content and, feel useful, helpful in some sort of way. And I feel like the business just kind of evolved and grow around from there. If you ask me why are we doing so good the last 2 years, someday I pinch myself because I don't know why. I just woke up and I'm just like, Kaylin, we had a really good day. And she's like, yeah. So I think just keep doing what you're doing. Just keep giving back to the lash community. Just keep educating. Don't be afraid to give too much of yourself because you get so much back if you are a brand owner. That's how we roll.
I love that.
Okay. Yeah. Take good care of your.
I want to cry over here.
No, but honestly, sometimes I don't know why my employees goes the length that they do for me. Sometimes I don't know. Sometimes I look at Caitlin or Katie or Colton or some of the staff that's been here for a really long time, and I'm like, you guys are too good to me, and I make sure that they are taken care of, But that's the kind of people you have to surround yourself with if you are going to build a salon, a brand, or anything. You can't be successful if everyone around you that work for you hates your ass. You just can't because they won't do anything for you.
Mm-hmm. And guys, I've only been here since Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what you see is what you get with Michelle. Like, she is one of the most humble, sweetest person I have had the pleasure of meeting. Even the team, like, everybody here, it's such a family vibe, and that is why I've told you since the beginning, before I even knew, like, really Paris Lash and what it was or your whole backstory, I told them I would be a loyal, like, fan, like, everything with them because you can just feel how genuine they are with everything. So thank you for that because that's refreshing, especially now with everything and how everyone is. I think COVID is just hard on everyone. Mm-hmm. COVID with business, closing, with people losing their job, losing their places, it really brings out the ugly in a lot of us. Even in the COVID time, I was just like, God dang it, this is crazy. Because we closed for 10 weeks. And all of our staff had to stay home for 10 weeks. And it was an ugly time. So I'm hoping with everything that's going on, get vaccinated and everything, out there, we'll get back to normal because this could be over now. Yeah, hopefully.
Yes,
hopefully,
now.
Hopefully. Did you ever imagine it would grow so big?
I dreamed.
We're only 2 years in. What's going to happen in 5?
We need a new warehouse. That's the next step.
Honestly.
So if you guys follow us, I got this building. I took my savings and I got this building in October.
Yeah.
October.
25th.
It is February 18, and we need a new warehouse. My warehouse manager, Colton, is about to kill me because he is from this back to the other back, all the way up to the ceiling, to the point that I can't reach anything up high. Zach is 6'6", so he's like, I got this, but but everything is really, really cramped, and everything is really, really crazy right now. So the next step is we're gonna need a bigger warehouse. We have a really big plan that we are working on, and I can't wait to tell you, but we're probably going to make an announcement in a few weeks or so to share with you more. Do I dream of this? Oh yeah, heck yeah. I'm like a dreamer. I dream of a lot of things to the point that, if you're inside my head, you'll probably think that person is insane. But that's okay. That's totally okay. I feel like it doesn't cost you anything to dream. My dad always said, dream really big. It doesn't cost you anything. And, work towards it. Just keep going. I have plans to work really hard the next 6 years. And hopefully I can retire soon. I don't know.
At this rate, yeah.
I can't work for forever. Caitlin's looking at me and it's like, what happened? I don't know. Maybe when my kids are teenagers and spend more times with them and work a little bit less.
They won't want to hang out when they're teenagers.
They better hang out with me, I'm cool. I could be cool, but I try. But maybe when things are a little bit more organized and not as crazy, we will be able to. I will be able to hand a lot of things over and just be more present with my kids, and things like that. And I dreamed. I do. I dream about it. I never thought it would grow this quick because my husband, actually, it's really funny. Husband, if you are watching, we're talking shit about you. My husband worked law enforcement. He has another 3.5 years until he retires. He's been in law enforcement for forever and military for forever. And I told my husband, I said, when are you going to come and help me at the warehouse? And he goes, baby, you don't supposed to grow this quick. You supposed to wait for me to retire so then I can come and help you. That's what he always say. But I don't know. Maybe he'll come and help me one of these days. Hopefully. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's good, would be good for my marriage, but.
I've worked with my husband for 5 out of the 6 years we've been together. And
yeah.
We're going strong.
That's good?
Yeah,
Good? Okay.
good.
Well, then I have to pick your brain on how to make that work, because...
Lots of love.
Yeah, I don't know. Lots of wine, probably.
Yeah.
You know, drinks a lot. Lots
Beer,
of wine.
anything. And I think we have covered everything we need to.
Okay. Okay, so we got everything. Emily Chu goes, don't do it. Emily, I don't know. That's what I always tell my husband. I'm like, do I do it? Do I not do it? You know, it would be really great if I don't have to juggle my kids and, you know, and business at the same times and have my husband's help. But on some days I'm like, I like this guy. I like to stay married to him. So I'm not too sure how that would work out. Okay, do we have any questions?
Yeah. How can you grow to be a good manager when you've had no experience or training?
Your own salon?
Yeah, good people manager.
I think being a good manager has a lot to do with your own personality. So being a good manager includes what you have to get along with people. You have to be very understanding. And if you taken in like a lash artist that work under you, which is the first step of you being like a manager, you managing someone, always put yourself in their shoes. And then because you are an employee before, everything you hated about your boss, make a list and make sure that you don't do it. That's a good first place to start. You know, if you worked it for a boss before that she was just a jerk, she micromanaged, she do this, she do that, make a list of all of that and make sure that you don't do it. And second, grow a backbone, which is really, really important. So like right now, Katie, one of our, she is in our customer service and she is working, you know, and she's moving up in the company. I take her for an example. She is such a nice person and she is the sweetest person that you've ever met. She'll do anything for you. But I tell her often, I said, Katie, I need you, in order to grow and move up, you have to grow a backbone. You have to be able to feel comfortable to confront people the polite way. Like, of course, don't be like a bitch to them, but you know, you have to be able to confront them and say like, hey, you know, I understand like there's these things that we have to work on, and you know, make a list of all the things that they are falling short on and talk to them and help them, you know, be a better employees. That's your job as a manager. It's not something that it's something you're gonna kind of have to practice and you know, make sure you communicate well. Make sure you don't blame the problems on anyone. That's a big one. If there's an issue, doesn't matter if it's a client issue, the text issue, or your issue, make sure you sit down and talk to them about it. You manage them better if you understand them and like them better. So just kind of go from your 1-2 step from there. Make a list of everything you hate about your ex-boss. Do the opposite. Grow a backbone to be able to have an adult, mature conversations with them, and then you should be on your way.
I love that.
Okay. They have to like you. Yeah. They have to like you. There's nothing worse than managing a salon or a business or anything where everybody hates you, because then you dread going into work. And then you know, and then they don't do anything extra for you. They don't go out of their way for you. You are just a paycheck to them, kind of thing. You don't want that. Yeah.
True.
Any advice on starting prices if I already have a portfolio but very little clientele? Should I start at my goal prices or lower them in order to bring in clientele?
Okay, so I always say some people have this idea of pricings on their head, and then sometimes it's way off with your market price. The price that you should start out should be the average pricings in your area. So if you are brand new, you don't want your price to reflect that you are brand new. Don't do a $45 full set. Please just go flip burger
That
instead.
hurts us.
You know, exactly. Just don't do it. So if you do it like that and you break it down after you pay rent and then you pay for your supplies, you're making less than minimum wage, which I don't recommend you to do. So what you do is you have to do research, right? You look in your area, take the 5 biggest salon in your area. Take the price, average it out, that should be your pricing. And then you, if you don't have any clientele and you want to get them in, what you could do is say, put it on Facebook and say, hey, you know, I opened my book, I have 10 spots. The first 10 people that, you know, claim these spots would get a full set for $100 or whatever price that you feel comfortable doing. And then after that 10 spots are filled, then it's gone. That's it. And then I'm back to my normal prices. Well, you don't have to tell people how many people that you actually take in. You could take in 20 people, doesn't matter. You could take in 30 people, it doesn't matter. But you make it a thing that people have to act right away, otherwise they lose out on the good deals. That's when you get people in your door, right? But then make sure that, you know, you don't set your price way, way, way too low, because guess what? Cheap price attract cheap people.
True.
You know? Yeah, you kind of pick your own client. Your pricings kind of set your own clients. If someone do a full set for $50, I would never go to them because I'm like, what do they use? Hair glue? You know, like they can't afford to buy good stuff if they charge $50. If they are a good business person, if they are not a good business person, then they shouldn't be in this business. If you are losing money and paying to do people's lashes, you better talk to someone else and, you know, help them. If you don't have the knowledge or the know-how, help someone else talk to, you know, break down your prices so you can structure your price better. You can always give a discount, and then as soon as you filled up your spot, you go back to your regular pricings and then when you are completely booked and busy, you can raise your price slowly to reach your goal price, right? My goal price was $250 for a set of volumes, and when I'm completely booked, I raised my full set price by $10 and my fill price by $5 after 6 months, and then after 6 months you raise it again. You know, if you're busy, you can keep raising your price. Don't raise your price when you're not booked. That's like a given.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love that.
Is that it? Did we cover everything that you asked for? Did you have any
so.
other questions? Do you want to say hi to Jackie? You can look at her Instagram and her Facebook. There, you know, friends her and say hi. She does incredible tattoo makeup. She does incredible like TikTok videos. Give her a shout out so she can grow. Yes, so she can grow in her lash journey. And if you have any questions, you know, for me, for Jackie, just feel free to comment on there, and we'll go through them, and then we'll see as many, we'll answer as many as we can.
This is my lash brand recommendation for you.
So lash brand recommendations depends on what you buy. We are a pretty amazing company, and we give back to our lash community. So I would love for you to give Paris Lash Academy a try. But there truly are a lot of amazing lash brands out there. That's it. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. We appreciate you tuning in and watching. And this will be on YouTube later, I think, in our Lash Group and Instagram, all the good stuff. Have a great day, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Bye.